We're looking at homework from section 2.4. This is question number 9. The ages in years of a random sample of shoppers at a gaming store are shown. Determine the range, mean, variance, and standard deviation of the sample dataset. So, we'll start with the range. Remember from the notes we had a formula that said that range was the difference between the maximum and minimum data values in a data set. So it's max value minus min value. The maximum value here is 23, and the minimum value was 12. So when we subtract 23 minus 12, we find our range of 11, which is the answer to part A. In part B, we're looking for the mean of the data set. So to find the mean, we have this formula that we take the sum of each data entry divided by the total number of entries. So we have two versions of the formula. The first is for the population. Mu is equal to sigma of x divided by capital N. And the second, x bar, is sigma of x divided by lowercase n. So this was a sample. We'll be using the x bar formula. Sigma of x means add up all the data values, and dividing by n means divide by the number of entries. So we had 10 data values here. If we add them all up, we get 164. 164 divided by 10 is 16.4. That's the mean of the data set, which is the answer to part B. In part C, we're trying to find the variance of the data set. Remember this formula from our notes, that the sample variance is going to equal s squared is the sum of the x minus x bars squared divided by lowercase n minus 1. So we'll make a table here where we put our 10 data values in the first column, and then we'll subtract the mean that we just found from each of those data values, and then we'll square those results. So 12 minus the mean of 16.4 is negative 4.4. 17 minus 16.4 is 0.06. 23 minus 16.4 is 6.6. And we'll be taking the 16.4 away from all these data values, which gives me negative 2.4, negative 3.4, 0.6, 2.6, 1.6, negative 3.4, and 1.6. So now we square each one of those subtractions. Negative 4.4 squared is 19.36, 0.6 squared is 0.36, 6.6 squared is 43.56, and we continue squaring. So we get 5.76, 11.56, 0.36, 6.76, 2.56, 11.56, and 2.56. So now we apply this sample variance formula, which is s squared equals the sum of the x minus x bars squared over lowercase n minus 1, which is 104.4 divided by 9, and that's 11.6. So our variance is 11.6. Now we want to find the standard deviation in part D. To find the standard deviation, we have this formula that says that the sample standard deviation is s equals the square root of the sum of the x minus x bars squared divided by lowercase n minus 1. But we also have this statement from our notes that reminds us that to find the standard deviation, you take the square root of the value of the variance. So, the variance, we saw, had a value of 11.6. We take the square root of 11.6 to find our s, which is 3.405877 and so on, which rounds off to one decimal place as 3.4. So that's your standard deviation, and that's your answer.